Hi, in this video I'll be demonstrating how to change these camshaft adjuster magnets. These are leaking. Unfortunately, they're leaking from the unit itself. On some units it just leaks from the seals. I have a video showing how to change the seals, but in this case it's actually leaking from the seam of the magnet. So in this case I'm going to replace both of these magnets. I'm using the Pierburg parts and I'm now going to do the repair. Right, so the first step is to remove the connector. You just need to squeeze that and that together. I can't get my finger there, so I'm just going to use a screwdriver, and there I can remove the connector. I'm just going to put that over there. Right, the other side. Right, there are 3 screws using an E8. If this pipe is in your way, it's a good idea to just remove it because you don't want to be bumping this and tearing these seams. These seams separate quite easily. Careful not to drop the screw when this comes out. Right, so the problem with these is it's actually leaking there. So unless you glue it, there's not much you can do here other than replace them. Now note, there's a rubber ring there and a rubber ring there. Your replacement camshaft adjuster magnets should come with seals. If they don't, you'll either need to reuse the old ones or get additional seals for this installation. I'm going to remove these seals, prying it out with the screwdriver without scratching any of the aluminium. You might find in your case they're very hard to pry out because they've been there for very long. I'm now going to clean the area. I like to use lacquer thinners or enamel thinners. Just make sure no cleaning products get in there where the camshaft is. I then wrap my screwdriver and clean inside here to make sure there's no oil. Now I need to put this almost a grommet in that hole there. This is quite tricky. Now, the way that I do it is I wet this. Don't wet it with oil, I just wet it with water. So wet this piece with water. Right, now it is wet. Now what I do is I insert it at an angle. Right, so there it's sitting at an angle. Now I take a flat screwdriver and I almost spade it in, like I depress it in. So it's like I'm massaging it in. I'm squeezing it in with the screwdriver. So what I'm doing is I've got my nail at the back to block it, and then I take the flat part of the screwdriver and push that through the hole. And then this side, I push it through the hole. Now you'll see that the whole bottom section is through. It's just this top part needs to pop in. Not using the tip, using the side of the screwdriver, I then push it in. And if I just show you from the other side, you should see that the one side is popping through. I just need to depress the other side. Right, so having a look from this side, you should be able to see that the rubber is mostly through the one side, the other side hasn't come through yet. You can wiggle it with your thumb, left and right, to try and seat it. If not, you can still use a screwdriver. All I'm doing is I'm using the flat part and just letting it slide in there. Right. Once it's through, give it a turn. I'm actually turning it with my thumb. See, I'm actually turning it with my thumb, making sure that that nipple is through. Then I just wiggle it a bit to the side, make sure it can't pop back through. So I'm actually just lifting it a bit, just making sure that it's sitting on top of the casing. Right, that nipple is completely through and the rubber is flush on the casing. Do not use a screwdriver to push in like that, you'll pierce it. Right, so I've done both of them and I'm now ready to put them back on the car. Right, because these screws have oil on them, I'm just going to clean them with some thinners. Right, I then put a tiny drop of blue thread locker. You do not have to do this step, but I do it. There's a tiny bit of thread locker on there. Right, now I seat my new seal. Right, make sure the seal remains in place. This goes like that. Right, now I take my ratchet and I turn it until it offers me resistance. Then I go there, and then I go there. As soon as it offers me resistance, I go back round again. Right, and I install the other side. Make sure the seal stays in place. You might need to hold it. Be very careful not to cross thread this. It should go in pretty easily. Right now it's stiff, means I'm cross threading it. A tip, when you're tightening this, Keep pressure on this all the time so that the rubber seal doesn't move and get in the wrong position. This should be almost flush even without the screws tightened. I turn it until it offers me a little bit of resistance, and then I go to the next one. Resistance, stop. Resistance, stop. Resistance, stop. Right, while that's seating, I'm going to quickly go to the other side and do final tightening. So once it's offered resistance, I do a 1/16th turn, and that's it. That's it. Now, because there's been oil on the connector, I just want to wipe it quickly. And having a look there, you can see that there's some oil that's got in there. I use a contact cleaner. I use this contact cleaner to clean the connectors. I reinsert the connector until I hear a definitive click. If you remove this pipe, just reseat it. You do not need to let the car sit for a bit, you can start it immediately. After a few days, open the engine, check if there are any leaks. Thanks for watching, and cheers.